is. It's that official time. Where we take this worldwide. Let's go. Listen. So now it's time to turn it up. Surf the radio waves as we begin to burn it up. We all up in your area like landscape, definitely bringing you the pancakes. It's a mandate that you tune in. It's time to move out so we can move in and recognize that this is no illusion. I'm here to clear the air so that there is no confusion. It all started off in the book of Genesis when Jacob was wrestling with who he thought was his nemesis. And when the man saw he couldn't overpower him, he touched his hip but he really couldn't devour him. And from that point, then we hear a name change, rearrange the game, so now we gotta change lanes. So I'm here to let you know it's time to listen to the Pancake and Powerslam Show. Let's go! Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Powerslam. Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Powerslam. Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Powerslam Show. Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Powerslam. Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Powerslam. Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Powerslam Show. Turn it up.
What's up, PNP Nation? Yo, Ricky. Hey, Doc. An interview with a former AEW person and someone you wanted to interview for a while. Very cool. PNP Wrestling School. With Dr. C and the PNP family. Episode 533. You've in the building. We in the house. We in the building. We in a doubt. And there's no doubt. There's no question. Come to bringing you a lesson. Yeah. What's good, PNP Nation? Yes, indeed, Ricky. Yeah. 533. PNP. It's late night, but that's all right. I got the best fans in the building, best chat room in the building. 533 with PNP family. Hey, yeah. Yeah. Hey. PNP. We with the family, yeah. 533 with Dr. C, yeah. What's going on, everybody? Thoughts on Jeff Hardy? Yes, I've been wanting to interview her for a while. That is true. It's great to interview her. Put Big Swole over tremendously, man. Just fantastic talent. Grossly underused in AEW. Was not a fan with how she was underused in AEW. So. Thoughts on Jeff Hardy's situation? Oh, man. Stay tuned. Vince Russo and I will be talking about that. I know a lot about the psychological part of alcohol use, even alcohol use. I mean, how it's so ethanol is the chemical that is like the thing. The ethanol is the thing. The ethanol is the one that prevents it does some crazy things. You have your prefrontal cortex which deals with the ability to regulate behavior. You have the amygdala, which deals with the ability to it's a reward system. So basically, that's what the amygdala does. So you have the prefrontal cortex, which deals with behaviors and be able to um, uh, regulate behaviors, and it causes an irregulation. That's the reason why a lot of times people get super loose when they get drunk. And then the reward system is the amygdala. So you have the prefrontal cortex, and you have the amygdala, which is like the southern part of your brain. It deals with more of a reward system. And so that's where you have a desire to do more. And then you have the cerebellum, which deals with like balance and things like that. So those are the three main parts that are really affected when alcohol is being used and when it's being overused. Um, so basically, when you, and I'll explain more of this in our whatever Russo, but here comes Dr. Chris for you. So when you consume alcohol, your body, your brain works really cool. So your brain programs the ability to replenish certain chemicals that needs to be replenished. So when you the ethanol basically brings down the necessary um, stabilizing. So it's called homeostasis is what it's called. So you have like your brain stabilizing like your heartbeat and your blood pressure and things like that. And so alcohol, when you consume alcohol, it brings that down, and then your brain works really cool because it gives it an extra kick to get back to a stable point. So that actually causes your brain to like kind of program times and patterns of when you drink. So that all that actually it causes the ability to quickly become more addicted to it. And then when it becomes addictive, your body has like the negative part, which is the desire to consume more of it, just because it's become that programmed way to not cause withdrawals. And then you have the positive, kind of deceptively positive kind of reinforcement in your body and your brain to drink more to cause that euphoric feeling that your brain receives when you consume. So unfortunately, the thing is it gets really easy to become addicted to it, and um, there has to be different measures that needs to be in place in order to really shun away from that addiction. Um, there's medicine to like block the the excitement chemical um, that causes you not to want to drink. But at the same time, that the medicine needs to be done with therapy. I mean, there needs to be some CBT done. There needs to be ideally like a group therapy setting would be ideal, like a peer support um, group would be good. Peer support intervention would be really good. So cognitive behavioral therapy. Those are things that really needs to get someone away from the desire to drink again, because if it's just like I'm gonna have the willpower to stop drinking again, that's it's typically not the way. Yeah. Ideally, if it was up to me, I would definitely be promoting some heavy duty divine intervention for sure. That would be my first uh, suggestion. Ricky. So Lashley hints at Hell in a Cell. He's going after Reigns, but he's going to lose to Theory at Money in the Bank, making him mid card. And it also builds Theory for Cena at SummerSlam, who he's probably going to beat. So why now should we think that Lashley is the one who's finally going to beat Reigns? I don't think that Lashley is going to be the one who beat Reigns. I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I don't think it's going to be Lashley. And I don't think Lashley should be Lashley shouldn't be used as putting Theory over either. That's horrible. And along those lines, baby oil, ladies and gentlemen. Like, they really spent the time to have baby oil at the end. First of all, you're closing a segment. You're closing a Raw with baby oil. You're closing a Raw with Theory squirting baby oil in Lashley's eyes. And the mighty bestial Bobby Lashley, the almighty, gets kryptonite in the form of baby oil. Who comes up with this stuff? Who comes up with this stuff, ladies and gentlemen? Who comes up with this stuff? Just weird. Super duper weird. Super duper weird. How am I staying cool with the hot weather you are getting over there? It's ridiculous, Elvis. It's absolutely ridiculous. It was 95 degrees today. Today's high was 96, actually. 96 degrees was the high today. 95 tomorrow. It was 96 degrees outside today. And it's like there's no breeze. It's just humid. Like, I have air conditioner at my office, thank God. And it's good air conditioner. So I didn't have to deal with that all day as I was giving therapy to my clients. I didn't have to deal with that ridiculous heat. And so when I left my office, I was just like, oh man, this feels good. I'm living the dream with this awesome temperatures in the 70s in my office, low 70s. Very nice. Nice breeze. I even had a jean jacket on because it was cool. It felt great. As soon as I walk outside, and it's just ridiculous. I even put a status on Facebook. It's so hot in here. It just feels like my face is stretching. I mean, that's how hot it was. It was just feel like it was the heat was hitting my face so much. It was feeling like my face was stretching. It was just ridiculous. So, yeah. And then I went to the gym, and the gym felt great too. Air was on. Got a good workout. Fans were right above me. It was great. And so spent an hour and a half in the gym. As soon as I walk out, there we go again with the insane heat. I was like, oh man, I got to get in somebody else's. I got to get somewhere. So went to grab something to eat. And not too long ago after that, I went home and I took a shower. And, yeah, it is hot. It is hot in Ohio, and I don't like it because it's not even the summertime. This isn't Ohio. This isn't what Ohio is supposed to be experiencing, and it's not even summer yet. Come on. The Ezekiel, aka Elias gig, I'm starting to grow cold with it. I'm starting to lose interest. I wasn't a big fan in the beginning, and then I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. And it's just, yeah, even the fans are just like, kind of like he's getting booed because the fans are just like, just, I think everybody's really getting bored of it at this point. It is thundering where Chris lives. Where do you live, Chris? Where are you at? Who will show up as Elias next week? Like I said on Legion of Raw, I said either it's going to be Damian Sandow or it's going to be some hologram. JR is in the building. What's up, my man? What's up? Judgment Day looks terrible with Balor. Yes. Super odd. Ricky's asking the people that get released from AEW, is it the same as WWE? They have no compete clause for however many days. I don't think they have a 90-day no compete. I don't think so. JR, they are suspended. They are as far as I know, I think that they're suspended right now. Thoughts on Rhea Bianca feud? I don't think Bianca should be used as a stepping stool to try to make a faction over that's not really over still. But unfortunately I think that Bianca's only going to have a 3-month reign because I think that she's going to lose the championship at Money in the Bank, which she shouldn't. She should definitely go against. I mean, we're so close. We're only 2 months away from SummerSlam, a month and a half. And so, I mean, almost exactly a month and a half away from SummerSlam. So she should not lose the title, and they should run it back with her and Becky Lynch. They should do a rematch because it makes perfect sense from a storyline perspective. Becky Lynch came back last year, 20 or whatever it was, 6 seconds or whatever it was. And so, perfect sense. I'm ready now. We are here. There's no funny business. You're not going to keep me off guard. Run that back. Run it back. Bianca versus Becky Lynch at SummerSlam. Makes perfect sense. And now this time Becky wins. I mean, Bianca wins. Bianca Belair wins. And even if, someone cashes the Money in the Bank the day after SummerSlam, stuff like that, moments like that is actually when I prefer someone losing their title because it protects them, because they already have been fighting a match. They've already been in a match. And so it makes sense that they're at a disadvantage when someone cashes their Money in the Bank contract, because they have adrenaline, they have super excitement, they have a lot more stamina, and so it just makes sense that if you're trying to protect someone, have them lose via Money in the Bank cash in. But I think that Bianca should have a very lengthy reign if WWE really wants to use her the way that she should be used. Judgment Day, Super Mid card now with Balor. Now they feel very mad. I agree. They definitely don't feel more elite or bigger. They don't feel bigger with Balor instead of Edge. I mean, what was the point? I mean, what are you trying to do here? You're trying, like, Judgment Day. I wasn't even really a big fan of Judgment Day in the first place. But then you have Edge, who's a Hall of Famer. I mean, who's a bona fide, he's a Hall of Famer. I mean, he's in the Hall of Fame. He is a legend at this point. And you have Edge, who's using his legendary status to try to push and elevate Damian Priest, who was just very meh beforehand, and then Rhea Ripley, who was being booked as meh, with the whole Nikki ASH and then Liv Morgan, and then they just throwing them together. It was just very meh. And so he was using his legendary status to elevate them. What exactly is Finn Balor using to elevate Priest and Rhea, who was meh before Edge? And Finn Balor's the worst of the three as far as how he's being booked. He's the worst. He's been booked horrible. So If anything, he's going to bring them down than elevate them because he's been booked so bad. Horrible. 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 Oh, absolutely. 100%. It just elevates it and makes it worse. Naomi and Sasha Bryant contract is coming up soon, so they might go to another company and one night resign. One might resign. Yeah. Sasha and Naomi will return at some point to WWE. I think Naomi would have a better chance than Sasha. Yeah, Naomi would over Sasha. Sasha, she's had more than one incident with, speaking up and kind of doing her thing and kind of being a rebel in WWE. And she was gone for a while beforehand. Anything can happen in WWE. Anyone's susceptible to coming back. So either one of them could come back. I think Naomi would have a better chance. I can see Naomi coming back before Sasha. Naomi needs WWE more than Sasha does. I mean, she's Snoop Dogg's cousin. She's in movies now. She doesn't really need, WWE as far as just breaking out somewhere financially. Naomi is a WWE talent. So at this point, I think she has a ton of potential to be successful in anything she puts her hands on. But at the same time, right now she's a WWE talent, so she really needs WWE financially. I don't think that she's going to do if they bring either one of them to AEW, especially Naomi. She's not going to get some major push. They just brought in Athena, you know what I mean? So why would they bring in Naomi? Where's she going? So they're already super oversaturated. Yeah, Theory's huge. Huge. Do I see a Naomi heel turn? No, I don't see that. Neither would I promote it at all. She doesn't need one. Not Naomi, but who knows about Sasha Banks or what her real name? Mercedes. Austin Theory will defend the U.S. title against John Cena at SummerSlam. And who do I think should win? Who I think should win would be a draw because Bobby Lashley inserts himself in it and wins it. Wins it all. I don't care about this match, at least for being a championship. Neither I care if Theory beats John Cena. So what? I mean, really. So what? I mean, Bray Wyatt beat John Cena a couple of years ago at WrestleMania, and he's gone. So it just. Here's the thing. If someone is super over, beating a legend means more. Like when Drew beat Goldberg is legendary. But Drew he was being booked okay, but he wasn't being booked like the best thing since sliced bread. He wasn't being booked as like the guy, the big kind of large in life character. Roman Reigns is being booked amazingly. And so bringing in John Cena is actually good for Roman Reigns because it elevates his status from great to greater, but someone like a Theory who's still mid-cardy, if he beats John Cena, I just don't see WWE really capitalizing on that more. They're always susceptible for 50-50 booking. It's just horrible that someone would have that type of spot. Like, I mean, perfect example, Roman Reigns beat The Undertaker. He beat The Undertaker. He was the 2 He was the second loss of his only 2 losses in WrestleMania history. Within a week, they just crapped on all of that. He's the whole it's my yard now. That would have been the perfect time to turn him heel. And my yard now. And within a week, they give all of that heat to Braun Strowman, and he's turning over ambulances. Just horrible. Great questions, y'all. See, Lexi's in the building. Someone was asking. Okay, Chris was asking, where do I live? Again, it was high 90s. I'm in Ohio. Paige leaving WWE and not renewing a contract. I think it's fantastic. I mean, they won't allow her to wrestle. So safety comes first, but if there's doctors that can clear her like they did Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson, go for it. Go for it. If they can, I mean, Sting was cleared to wrestle. Sting was cleared. Christian was cleared. Edge was cleared. Bryan Danielson was cleared. So let Paige, make sure that she's safe. And if she knows that she's ready and the doctors agree, there you go. I don't see anything wrong with it. She wants to compete. She's young. Let her get in the ring. Do it. How would you book Cody Rhodes when he returns to WWE? I mean, I think what everybody, I think what the majority thinks is that he's going to win the Royal Rumble, which I can see, and he's going to go against Roman Reigns. If The Rock is not available, he's going to go against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Then there's a good chance that he may beat Roman Reigns, which I don't think he should. See, that's the reason why I don't like this undisputed stuff, man. I just don't like unifying the titles. Because I wouldn't mind Drew winning. Because essentially, this is if Drew doesn't beat Roman at Clash of the Castle, that means it would be 2.5 years since Roman Reigns had the title. And he would probably lose to Cody at WrestleMania. And that's probably most likely what will happen, which, yeah. He'll probably come back for Seth in the beginning and then probably win the Royal Rumble. Yeah. Iowa, Chris is it. All right, we got a little bits to go. See what else we got from the PNP Nation, who always asks the most amazing questions. It's hot in Topeka. They were in Wichita last night and Monday night, and I heard that they barely grazed over 3,000 tickets. What a waste. Montez, yes, he's getting some girth. He's getting some girth on him, some girth, which is good. Which I don't like the fact that they had him lose a singles match. Dude has so much potential. He can be a single star, man, especially if he gains weight and gets more mass. Man, dude has just, incredible potential. And then they have him have a showcase of a singles match and then have him lose it. Horrible idea. Lexi, with the consistent leaks coming from the AEW backstage, do you think certain former WWE superstars are experiencing buyer's remorse, or do you believe that is a sabotage by WWE? Lexi once again asking the amazing questions. I don't think they're experiencing buyer's remorse, because even if they were in WWE, they would be. Essentially, it's a lateral move. I mean, that's basically what we're seeing with a lot of talent. It's a lateral move, and it's just so saturated in WWE. You got Miro that like they're trying to do this all Atlantic, which when did Japan become an Atlantic country? That doesn't make sense. So Atlantic countries, yeah, I believe Japan's a Pacific country, not an Atlantic country. So is China. Samoa, Australia, Indonesia, China, Japan. Yes, they're Pacific countries. They're not Atlantic countries. Man. Somebody give Tony Khan a map. Please. Give that man a map. The All Atlantic Championship, and you have Japan and China there, which are Pacific countries. Yeah, so it'd be a lateral move. I mean, basically, AEW was AEW. A lot of WWE felt that AEW was where all the cool kids were. They were being annoyed by their current friend group. They went over to AEW where the big buzz is, where they thought all the cool kids were. And then they found out that they're just as annoying as their current friend group. So basically, do you stay with your friend group who's annoying, or do you go back to your other friend group who's annoying? It's kind of like a lose-lose. JR. Who would give Roman a run for the title? They won't put Drew over nor Bobby. Is there a chance the Big E makes a return? I think he well, I mean, it really depends on how his neck is. It could be you don't mess with neck injuries. It takes a while to recover from that. I think eventually he could come back, but it's going to take a while. I think Drew's the one who should dethrone Roman Reigns at the Castle. I think it makes sense. They'll be in the UK. They're doing a big old, they're super promoting this UK pay-per-view. Drew's the man for the job to make the UK fans happy. It's just good business. Makes sense. Tina's in the building. Do you think WWE will learn their lesson with this Cody injury that only building one person at a time is a bad idea? Fantastic point. Or is that just me wishful thinking? No, it's not you wishful thinking, because I think that they get it. I think that they get it with Roman too. Like they're trying to hot shot Riddle as a main event player, but he just doesn't fit the bill. I mean, like they're literally having an undisputed Universal Championship match on SmackDown. And I hope they don't just gimmick this to make it continue to Money Bank, because that would be horrible. You already oversaturate things. You have contenders matches that someone has to beat the champion to become champion, that they beat the champion already and beat them again to become the champion of the champion that they beat already. I mean, horrible concept. And then you have a potential Riddle gets this moment. First of all, he doesn't even make the pay-per-view, but somehow they're going to have him go for the championship at a SmackDown instead of just waiting 2 weeks for the pay-per-view. So either it's a weird, hey, let's try to spike up these ratings, or they're going to try to gimmick it up and have another match. Like, what happened to stories taking precedence and the match be at the back end to a good story? I mean, there's times where people didn't even have physical contact with each other until the match. That builds the momentum. Feverish pitch, volcanic. But if you keep fighting each other, I don't care about you fighting for the fourth time or the eighth time at a pay-per-view. Horrible, horrible, horrible booking. Why did they go back to the original concept for Money in the Bank when it was supposed to be a match of Mania? I think that was a miscommunication in a lot of the fans. It was just Cody cutting the promo, and a lot of people misperceived that. I don't think it was supposed to be a match at Mania. Michael says Ciampa was right all along about not wanting to move up to Raw. He's been completely buried. Absolutely. 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 Fantastic point there. Yeah, I mean, he's been very adamant for 7 years that he doesn't want to be a part of the main roster because he'd be lost in the sauce, and he knows that he was making more of an impact in NXT. That's how he felt, and he was right because he's being booked lousy in the WWE. Yeah, he did. Yeah, that looked like it hurt real bad. Lawsuit with Stephanie McMahon. No, I don't. Stephanie McMahon lawsuit. No, I do not. When do you think though we'll finally get the women's tag team title tournament? Who are the women's teams that will be included? Shayna and Natalya, Liv and Alexa, Nikki and Piper, Tamina and Dana, I suppose. And they'll probably bring some people up from NXT, which I think is a bad idea because you already have NXT women's tag team champions, and you already have that you should separate the brands. NXT is its own baby. It is not a main roster. You're playing in moments like it's a main roster, but then you're booking it like it's not, and you're having main rosters go down to NXT to elevate the program. Don't overlap the two. Don't do it. And these teams are just ugh. I wouldn't mind Liv and Alexa winning the titles actually. But meh. You just named 4 teams. What, they're gonna do a fatal 4-way? I mean, who else do you have? You have Raquel Rodriguez. Rodriguez is there. Her and Ronda Rousey have been cool lately. Do you just throw them together? You have Shotzi, and you have oh gosh, what's her name? The Protector, who isn't the Protector anymore. They're disgruntled people. Do you throw them together? I mean, just horrible tag team division. Horrible. Dion, how is Cena supposed to be back for? How long is he supposed to be this time? You see him sneaking in the Money Bank and win it so he can break for a record? No, I don't see him doing that at all. He's too Hollywood to do that. I can see him getting an angle with Theory. I can see that, but other than that, nah, he's going back to Hollywood. He's going back to Hollywood. See that happening because there's only one spot filled right now. Theory is the next big thing. He has the It Factor. I don't see that. Theory has a ton of potential because I follow him when he was in Evolve. Ton of potential. Good promo. Very snug, you know. Good heel. But it's not clicking with me. What should they do with Ziggler and Rude? Bobby Roode should be like a very prominent name, at least in NXT. But I would say he has main roster abilities too. I mean, he's a fantastic talent. Dolph Ziggler, even if they're doing this dirty dogs thing, I mean, they just kind of throw him in and out, back and forth. I mean, ugh, man. Now Ziggler trains Omos, and so they were trying to have Omos and MVP do a feud with the Dirty Dogs, who all of a sudden is baby faces, but they don't even show up on Raw, so they don't even know what they want to do with them. Lexi, talking heads have recently been calling out Meltzer for his blind allegiance to AEW TK and how his news is less and less true. What do you think the reason could be, and will it get better? Good question. I think that I know that he's in very close conjunctions with AEW, because if it wasn't for Dave Meltzer, I mean, you could say that there would be no AEW, because Meltzer and Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns are the three people who started AEW, because it was and the person who tweeted about the 10,000 seats, those four people are the four people who started AEW. The tweet about the 10,000 seats, the Meltzer retweeting that and saying he doesn't think so, and then Cody and Roman going back and forth about main eventing, and then Cody saying that he's going to prove, Roman Reigns wrong and make it happen, and then getting the 10,000 seats. That led to All In, and there you go. So he has a lot to do with the advent of AEW. I would say that he doesn't have much WWE news because people aren't leaking it to him anymore. So I knew there was a few people who was leaking, and I found out there was a few people that was leaking Meltzer news throughout the number of years. And either those people aren't there anymore, or those people want their job more than leaking out news to Dave Meltzer. So he may have one or two contacts inside, but not as much anymore. And then knowing that he has such close proximity to AEW, I'd imagine that there's people in the WWE that are much less likely to want to tell him things. So that is my take. You got me on that when I found out tonight there's a country in Europe called Jersey. Yes, indeed. That's where Nathan Fraser's from. He does a lot of clip jumps. Nice. New Samoan upcoming wrestlers. Solo Sequoia in NXT. He's the one. Virgil's been calling out Ted DiBiase for his lack of compassion while Virgil struggles with his health. Do you believe it has anything to do with past dealings with or Ted DiBiase fraud charges? His fraud charges. For what I know, Virgil can be a little difficult to communicate with. I'm not quite sure. I think Ted DiBiase, he could make some acknowledgement because Virgil was an instrumental part in him becoming the heel that he was. As far as Ted DiBiase is concerned, I don't know the inner conflict that they have between each other. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know the story that if they have any conflict, if there's a falling out. And if Virgil says something, it would only be one-sided because Ted DiBiase hasn't really spoken on that. It's interesting because Bald Jericho would be super weird. Ortiz getting his hair cut would be odd too. A bald Ortiz. Ortiz's hair actually kind of brings some layers on him, so to speak, as far as his character. So I don't know, maybe gimmicked, perhaps, and maybe a screwy finish. Side notes in the building, listening along, good stuff. Xylee, thank you, Chris. Cena should feud with Theory, but should a U.S. title be involved? No. I would say no. Men's Money Bank, this cash in happened in Cardiff because of the historical event. Asked me that the Tuesday before Money in the Bank. Happy early Father's Day. Thank you, Elvis. Thank you, Elvis. Thank you, Elvis. All right. Will the people that leak info be people who work for the company? Would they be a wrestler? It's been both. People who, because people have told me, I've gotten information from people who worked in a company before. There's a bunch of scoops that I've released, and I've gotten information from people who work in the company. Before, years ago, when I was in journalism, like when I was actually writing, I knew some stuff. Using your degree, salute, King. Thank you. Can you give us insight on the dangers of Ric Flair wrestling again? He also called out BKM and wants him to be his final master. Ric Flair, I'm getting my music together. Ric Flair is definitely dealing with some things that really is causing him to want to thrive on that type of attention. It's kind of labeling theory. It's labeling theory is a psychological term that you feel like you're kind of mandated to act the role that people give you. And so basically it seems like Ric Flair is kind of acting that walk that out, nature boy, woman's man type of deal. And it's really a huge detriment to his personal life because there's not really a separation there, unfortunately. And I think at the end of the day, it's he wants that. I mean, it's like a drug to him. That attention, that reaction, and the ability to garner that reaction from the crowd is like a addiction to him. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, about 5:09. I saw one time. I saw that recently that it's being pushed up to 5:49. Absolutely ridiculous. It's time to go. Yeah, it's time to go. I don't know. Someone tell Chris if Lorena Bobbitt is still alive. As far as I know, I think she is, unless I miss something. Thank you, Chris. Phil Fox in the building, yeah. Currently invested in Bianca Belair. aware that you enjoy what they do so much you feel like a fan again. Bianca Belair, but honestly, nobody. I did. Yes, there are also rumors about Jeff Hardy in that situation. PNP Nation, I'll see you later. I'll see you